Hi, everyone. Thank you for tuning in for another uplifting conversation from the Heart of Oneness Network channel. As always, Matt and I are humbled to share time and space with all of you as we dive deep into the heart of offering for some of the amazing collaborative participants that make up the Heart of Oneness Holistic Expo. As always, the purpose and intention of this channel is to connect hearts far and wide while offering up a container of spiritual enlightenment that supports you on your path of self-discovery and awareness. Our desire is that you leave this space feeling uplifted, inspired, and expansive. Today, we welcome Father, husband, and metaphysician Halo Marquez, who is the founder and CEO of Mystec, a biotech company whose world vision embodies and teaches the importance of harnessing happiness, self-development, spiritual and conscious awareness as tools that support the betterment of humanity. His products are merely stepping stones to a better feeling you. He lives passionately and purposefully in full alignment with his mission, whose impact has sparked a new generation for a better tomorrow. Tonight, our wish is that you embrace the living essence that is Mystec, as they truly have found a way to bridge what was once considered mystic with modern technology to create a process and product unlike anything the world has ever seen. And as Halo would say, welcome to the future.
Awesome. Thank you.
It's wonderful to have you, Halo. And as you can tell, some of these beautiful words that I shared in this opening, we took from your website, which is just stunningly beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you for being here. And
thank you so much.
Sharing your time and your essence and your heart's offering with us.
Oh, you guys are so welcome. It's an honor to be here with you guys. It's great. It's great.
So, it's funny. Today I was obviously doing, a little further research on your website. We'll talk about the expo a little bit later, but believe it or not, when you came and did the show, I really didn't have an opportunity to even speak with you too much. So I really found myself for the first time to be really transparent. I could feel you from the get-go, from the moment we spoke on the phone, and the essence of your work, but to actually dive into it and really see, and some of the testimonials that you have on your site were just so beautiful. And what I love was your mission statement, which is that you are dedicated to improving the quality of life through ancient and advanced natural technologies. So I would really, really love to kind of just jump from that space and understand even further, if you could share with everyone who's going to watch this video, what the mission is all about, what the technology and the life transformation work that you do is all about.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Wow. It's a lot. So I guess I'll just start with how I even, came across this tech and the impact and what really just, I feel so fortunate and honored to even have access to this, and really am trying to present it and deliver it in such a way that again supports all these things that we're talking about. So in short, I was admissions counselor at University of Phoenix for quite some years. And I felt like I was doing really good work there, but I still wasn't on the path, I guess we'll say. They say woke now or whatever, but whatever it is. Yeah. And I had been starting into some Reiki practice and just other things in the metaphysical realm, but long before this I was actually gifted some stuff by Tesla, like authentic, I have one of those actual light bulbs that's like this big, and when you hold it, it doesn't light up, but your body does. You get these goosebumps, but it's a different thing completely. And about 11-12 years ago now, I came across a company that had a moderate version of what we ended up buying out and transforming into Mystec. And as they're explaining it to me, I'm like, "What are you guys using this type of technology. And when he looked at me, he's like, how do you know that? And I only know it from this gift that I have. And so I was shocked that anyone else could even know this. This is Nikola Tesla we're talking about.
Yeah, right.
So I got a couple of them, and those at the time were equivalent to probably, I want to say negative 15 to 16 strength wise to what we have now as our level 1, but still was very significant. And what this technology does is it makes all your protons at a molecular level all point and send signals in the same direction, opposed to this ocean of electromagnetic fields that we're grown up in, and how no one's really experienced something outside of that unless you go camping for like a week at a time with no electronics. Most people have never felt their body at its actual like real version of what it's supposed to be doing.
Wow.
It's like finding out the water you've been drinking for the last 50 years has lead in it, and we didn't know lead was doing something terrible to us. So without having pure water, we've never even felt it. We think we're really good. So I got this just before a weekend was coming up. It was Thanksgiving weekend. I was going to travel up 3 hours to visit my mother, and she was an RN, and at the time she had been suffering from fibromyalgia for about 6 years and was on quite a few different medications. And as the years went on, obviously, as they do with all medicines, they increased the doses, they did more chemical stuff, and it got to sometimes when I was calling her that she was very out of it and pretty lethargic, which is not a good feeling for a loved one, especially for a son to their mother. So while we're on this drive up, I'm talking with my wife about it, and I'm like, yo, if these guys really figured this out, like the verbiage he was using, everything, I think so. But again, this is not anything we've ever seen or really even heard about. So she had a pink bracelet, and I was like, listen, when we get up to see my mom, I want to give her your bracelet and just have her wear it over the weekend and see if there's any effects with her fibro. So don't say anything about it. I'm just gonna tell her it's one of these like Live Strong bracelets, and that's it. So we get there and we start talking, and she's all happy to see us and the whole everything. And I'm like, oh hey, before I forget, I got you one of those bracelets everyone's wearing. Here you go. We're gonna be twins. And like showed her my bracelet, and that was the extent of what we talked about. That was it. Oh, thank you, I love it. Big hug, and then right about a regular day. Well, I don't remember how much we spoke, but anyone that knows me, I don't really sleep. I'm not really a fan of sleep at all. So 2 to 3 hours a day, maybe. And I don't really get sick or tired. I just got over this thing. I got something lodged into my nasal cavity, and that jacked me up. But that's like the first time I've been like sick or down in quite some time. It was a whole different story. But so the next morning around 6, I come out into the kitchen, and before I even get there, I can hear this music, and I get around the corner, and my mom's dancing around making breakfast. Now, at this point, I'm not even thinking about the bracelet or the tech. I'm thinking, did she take morphine first thing in the morning? And this is why, And so I'm like, Mom, you okay? What'd you have for breakfast? And she's looking at me. She's like, no, listen, I think I'm just happy to see you guys. I woke up this morning. I slept all night. No pain pill for the first time. And as far back as like, you have to visit more often. No more of this holiday crap. Like, I feel so good. And she was just juiced. It was an amazing thing to see in my mother. And she's already a very positive and very happy person. But this was just a whole different vibration of where she's normally at. And so while she's talking, I can see this bright pink bracelet, kind of the same color as the Mystech.net on the video. It's about that color of a bracelet. And I can see it while she's talking with her hands. And in my mind, I'm like, overnight?
Wow.
No way. There's no. And so I was surprised, and I thought it might have been a little bit of a fluke. But sure enough, the next day, no pain pill again. And she felt even better than the day before. And so we were there for, I think, a total of about 4 days. And on the last day, I'm finally like, hey, Mom, listen, so I gotta be honest with you. That bracelet that I gave you, this is like some research. I don't think they have it based off of Tesla, but I understand it from Tesla's research. And I think I'm going to have to go work with these guys if it's really doing this to you. And she's looking at it, she was like, well, actually, you know what, that I've heard about frequency stuff before, but because I'm feeling great, if it really isn't, we got to get this for Mom and Dad. For my grandparents. And my grandma at the time, she had these crazy chronic migraines that she had a TENS unit hooked up to like deaden out the nerves of her neck, so her migraines wouldn't be so bad.
Oh wow!
Right. So we're getting ready to head back, and it's a Sunday, and I'm talking with my wife Jeanette, and I'm like, babe, I think I'm just gonna go work for these guys right now. And she's like, what do you mean? I was like, I'm gonna email UOP and tell them that I quit and go find them Monday and tell them I work for them. And she's all, what? No. And again, so I'm very much of a risk taker because I believe that we live in a space of abundance, and any fear of that closes those things off. So I was beyond certain that this was a great idea, though she was, little nervous, and we had a one child at the time. So literally while we're in this drive, like she's driving and I get on my phone and I email and I'm like, listen, thank you for all the time I've been here and the amazing opportunity. And I don't mean to be unprofessional, but I found what I think I need to do with the rest of my life. So Monday morning, I won't be into work. Please mail me my last check.
Wow.
I just got chills. I just got chills.
Wow.
And it was a weird thing because I've been there for a long time. I actually loved the job. I liked the people that I worked with. There was nothing as a reason to go other than I just saw this incredible transformation in my mother of something that she'd been struggling with for quite some time.
Wow.
So Monday I ended up going back to where I got it, and I walk up to the guy and he was like, so you love it, man? You about to get some more? I'm like, oh no, I just quit my job. I work for you now. My resume is astounding, and like I said, I'm pretty sure I know how you guys are doing this. I might even be able to make it work better, but I just want to start working at the location so I can show you I do know what I'm talking about, and then we can get to that later if that's cool.
So you went out. So you quit your job and you went out there, and you weren't even offered anything from these people.
No, I just showed up and was like, I work for you now. Like that, literally, like that's
like Think and Grow Rich, right?
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah. And so he was a little flustered and a little confused, but was very excited. He was like, okay, I'm like, listen, you don't have to start today, but we're just going to waste time. So I'm actually like, I don't have work to go to. Like, you can just start training me right now and I'll let you know what I know. And let's see what happens. What? And he's like, dude, are you for real? And I'm like, yeah, I need to do this. I know I need to do this. So long story short, I was the newest person before me had been working with him for about 6 months. Right. So it was him. And I want to say 3 or 4 other people that just worked different shifts at this small location in Arizona. And so my first week, I actually outsold him and everyone else combined. And they were freaking out and they were worried I was saying stuff I wasn't supposed to be saying or overpromising. I'm like, listen, you guys are these sharks at the mall that are really pushy and overly aggressive, and people don't want to talk to you guys.
Yeah.
I'm approaching this like a technician, not a salesman. And I just want people to understand what the technology is. And if they want to think about it, no big deal. I'm not chasing them off. And they're like, what? And prior to working at UOP, just for a little background, I worked when I was 19. I made $125,000 working at like a sales, marketing, advertising company, like Wolf of Wall Street type stuff. So I came from a very aggressive, very brutal sales background, and it made me feel gross.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So even though this was retail and it was sales, I just didn't take that approach.
Mm-hmm.
And so next thing you know, within a couple months, they gave me my own location in the same mall, and me and one other person were, just annihilating this other location with 6 people, 7 people.
Wow.
And this came into like, you guys are not explaining it in the way that people need to understand. This is technology. This is not some gimmick. I like the muscle test and all that, but it's just, we got to revamp this thing. So slowly but surely, people from the other location start coming and working at mine with the way I was training them. Sure. And everything just started really taking off. So eventually we got to where, and I was there for a couple of years, but a guy came and really wanted to start investing and be a fourth. Oh, I'm sorry, I skipped a step. After my 3rd month there and going over all the things, I finally got to speak with the engineer, and we agreed that I would be able to go and play around with the machine a little bit. And so after about a week of making everything work way better, and when they said they would make me a partner, deleting everything that was out of the system, after a week of seeing all these changes, they finally made me the 3rd partner.
Wow.
And so not to speak bad on them, they're both amazing gentlemen. I love them a bunch, and we still talk pretty regularly, but this was really just about money for them. And that's okay. That's the world a lot of people live in. And I was just blown away with the potentiality, and the machine could do so much more than just the Schumann resonance, which was the main everything that they've been working on. But because this was coming from a metaphysical standpoint, the engineer and a couple of the partners didn't want to hear about it or didn't think it had any relativity or substance to what it really was. Then after a couple of years, this other investor came along, and they didn't want a 4th partner because splitting it 3 ways, we were doing better, but they were still making less.
Right.
And splitting it that way.
Right.
So they kept saying no. And I was literally in a meditation one day, and I was like, I wonder if I could just buy it out from them completely. because the investor never gave any numbers or anything. He was just kept asking. So I didn't know what he was looking at or what he was working with. And these guys were Turkish. So they'd always tell me a handshake was just as good as a written contract.
Yeah.
Right. So after I have this vision of maybe we buy it out, I go over to him and I'm like, Abi, which is like brother in Turkish, it's a term of endearment. And I was like, so listen, you guys just care about the money. Can I just buy it out from you? Because the investor, like, we haven't even gone over the numbers, but what would it take? And he kind of giggled because he knew what I made, which wasn't bad, but was nowhere in the realm of what they were asking. But they actually asked for less than what I was expecting.
Oh, wow.
And so I was like, for real? And he was like, yeah. I'm like, shake on it, like a contract? And he's like, sure, Abi. And he gives me a big hug and he's like, good luck.
Wow.
So I immediately, as soon as we're done, I get on the phone with Joe before we even, before I'm even out of the parking lot. I'm already on the phone. And I was like, hey, listen, what if we just bought this out? And I really don't care about the money. I'll make you 50-50 partner. You won't be able to see the machine or really know more about that. That's still, we have a lot of NDAs and stuff for that.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're down, like, as far as making the money and you want to take this journey, like, what do you think? And he's like, dude, are you serious? For real? Like, it would just be ours? And he had talked to me the most, so we already had a really good relationship. And I was like, yeah, I think I want to rebrand everything, and we can do so many more frequencies, but I want to reorganize everything in Portland, Oregon for some reason. And I just had this call to go there. And he goes, all right, we'll make a deal with you. If I can go to Portland with you, I'll do it.
Wow.
And so it took a couple of weeks to get everything together, but once it hit, like, my wife and I cried a bit, and we'd never seen anything like this. And we got a little bit more than what we needed. So we had this really nice cushion. I'm like, hey, we're going to go to Portland, and Joe's going to move up there, and we're going to open up the malls up there, and we'll do the markets. And he was amazing enough to say, okay. And
wow.
next thing I knew, we were up there, and we started off just at this thing called the Saturday Market in Portland. It's like 8,000 to 12,000 people at the prime of it from all around. It's the number one tourist attraction in Portland. And so we were there, and the rent was really low, and we were the new guy on the block, but I'm overly friendly. And I like to be very friendly. Yeah. And so I make quick friends with everyone, and I start gifting people all around us the tech and just give them the level 1 bands. And by the next week, people are like, dude, what is this? And people were just really freaked out about it. And so we had planned to do that for a year before we opened up in the 3-4 malls out there. And we were ahead of schedule by 6 months.
Wow, Halo. Wow.
And I was really humbled, and I was really excited, and it seemed to be in a place where people were receptive to this type of information and new technology. It's and I'm sure you guys know because of what you do, but it's weird that we're in the age of information and people forget that we can still invent new stuff and that there's things out there that we don't know.
Yeah.
So it was wild. Our first year as Mistech, and with everything rebranded and doing it in the way that we were doing it, we did like 6 to 7 times what we were doing as the previous company with less locations and less everything, just in the way that our approach was. The other thing that I think we've been so fortunate about, and it's bound to happen. It just happened in a way more than I ever expected. Our referral and return customers has been absolutely astounding.
Yeah.
And one of my things about this is I like that it's a product you can purchase one time. You don't have a monthly, you don't have a subscription. You're not continually putting this. So it was very cool to see people get this thing, and you don't need a refill. You don't need it, but come back and get more and get more. And, I wear probably 23, 24 different pieces and different frequencies. And I've really biohacked myself into a place where, again, my mind is very sharp. My will is beyond the stuff I put in my body gets absorbed way more than most people. My immune system is flying through the roof. I've got the sun frequency. So again, our bodies are these beings of resonance. We're really the perfect conductor, and we forget about that. So
it's funny that you said
that's the short version.
It's beyond. It's beyond. Like, I just took in so much information and frequency just listening to you that I'm like, my body is doing.
Perfect.
And it's funny that you mentioned the sun. So when I was on the website earlier today, I literally said to Matt earlier, I was like, I have to get a bracelet, and I was really called to like the sun resonator, right? There's a couldn't tell you why, but anyway. that's just such a remarkable
Mhm.
initiation, right? And I
Yeah.
feel like
Oh.
it's such a beautiful testament to the heart of your offering, and wanting to just give
Mhm.
what was really started with Nikola Tesla in terms of the technology. And I believe the love that he had in his heart for humanity, because
Same.
clearly he wanted people to understand that we were so much more than what we were being told that we are. And this frequency that is around us, that is us, is readily available for everybody, So God bless you. What a
Oh.
testament that destiny is destiny. There's no running from it. I love that you took the opportunity when you saw it, it's not even opportunity. It's like you trusted yourself. You
Mhm.
trusted
Yeah.
everything that the universe was trying to show you, and you took it and you ran with it. And we are all the better for it. So thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
I mean, it's just,
Go ahead.
I said such a testament to just trusting your instinct, to really saying, I believe in this and I believe in myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's almost like Karen said, Think and Grow Rich, that one story. And you just were like, this is my desire, my will, and nothing's going to stop me. But you came from such a heart-based center that it wasn't about, I want the money, I want this. You just want to serve and give. And what your mother experienced, you want to have as many people experience that as possible and have a wonderful quality of life.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And look, I'll be honest. I believe in being overly transparent, for better for worse. Any bridges that can be burnt should, I think.
Mhm.
So
That's
while
powerful.
I'll blow my own horn that I like to be generous, but I got to be honest. It's also for very selfish reasons.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of people either don't fully understand or comprehend or subscribe to the ideal of mass consciousness. And I very much believe that this is a truth, a knowing.
Mm-hmm.
So anytime, because I we gift out probably 3,000 to 4,000 vans a year.
Wow.
During our 10-year anniversary, we got $5,000 worth of pennies and imprinted them, and then just put them back out into circulation. And we've done this 3 times, so there's $15,000 worth of pennies that are out in circulation that if certain days people have it on them, they're just going to be feeling better that day and will never even know how or why. So it's a great thing to want to help. It's great to want to help people, but because I have a key component of knowing in this mass consciousness, I want all of us to get there at a much faster rate so I can get onto higher places for myself as well. And we can't do that while everyone is still staticky. So it is definitely, I do want to give and I do want to help, but there is a component for me as well. Like every time I give to someone, I'm like, one more time, another person, another notch up for all of us, and it's, I think it's important to have that and be grounded in it. It makes my real mission just more tangible and really pressured for me that I have to do this. The other thing I would also want to offer is I'm good with belief systems and everything, but I believe all of us have this knowing that supersedes and goes beyond that it takes certain levels of experience in our belief before it's cemented into the knowing. And I think that's one of the things that's made me really dangerous in what I do is it really goes very far beyond belief for me. It's just 2 + 2 is 4. So I can articulate that as many ways as possible without having to worry about my beliefs getting shaky, because beliefs can get shaken.
Yeah, right. I love that. Yep, absolutely. Yeah.
Did I lose you guys? Oh.
No. We're still here.
So but it's just
it's just
okay,
it's such
it's been
such a testament to the person that you are. Like, we met you, it was like when I talked to you on the phone, it was just you're, like you said, you're so easy to talk to. You're so true in who you are as a person and a human being. And it comes across that anybody who meets you, you can't help but like you just as a person, because you're such a beautiful soul. And then it just transcends everything else because you're truly just want to have, everybody have that experience. And to your point, mass conscious, the more people that are feeling this, the better everything guns. And it just pulls us all along in that same direction.
Yeah, man. That's what I love so much about our testimonials. And I'm pretty emotionally stable, but anytime, it doesn't matter if it's an email, a text, a call, if someone tells me they're getting this as a gift for someone, like I get very emotional. I usually get teared up over it because it means that people are understanding what it is that we're trying to do, and they want to share it with other people.
Yeah.
And so
it was like the show. It's interesting. We were talking about the show was going to talk to this later, but it's a good segue. Is we were talking about my younger brother came to the show, and the long story short is he lives in Florida. We were telling you, and he was supposed to fly up and land in Newark, and the flight got canceled. So he actually flew to Philly and took an Uber from Philly to the convention center, which is about an hour and a half drive. So I don't know what it cost him, the Uber, because he knew he was, I think he thought he was coming there to support me, him and my nephew. And I met you just briefly, and I kept pushing my nephew to go over there and meet you. And then I had my brother. I said, you have to go talk to Halo. And I literally had more conversations on the phone with you than at the show. I talked to the show for about 30 seconds.
Yeah, totally.
But I was like, Bill, you have to go talk to him. And my brother went over, bought a couple of bracelets for him and his son and his daughter. Didn't think anything of it. And I was telling Halo this probably 2 weeks after the show. My brother called me up, and he has health issues. So he had trouble sleeping. He almost died several years ago from blood vessels burst in his stomach. So all these things. And he's like, Matt, I've never felt so better. I've never slept so well in my life. And it's now a little over 2 months after the show, and he is like a completely different person. He's like invigorated. He feels great. And it just touches my heart because he came to support me, he thought, but he came to meet you. His soul knew he had to meet you. And what you did for his life, it's like I said, it's a night and day how my brother is. And it just touches my heart each time to know that he was able to meet you and you were able to transform his life.
Oh man, thank you. Thank you so much. That thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, truly.
Thank you. Thank you, because
that's why we do all of it. And
the love you
thank
came
you, man. Thank you
across
so much.
that day, that whole weekend, the amount of people who we've spoken to who've like talked about the bracelets and you and this and that, and it was just you being you. You weren't trying to do anything other than say, here I am to serve.
Yeah.
And it came across so abundantly clear all weekend.
Yeah. And, I have to.
Yeah, thank you.
I have to add to that, with Matt's brother, Bill, his transformation just wasn't physical. It was like witnessing him taking that quantum leap. It was mind, it's body, it's his entire essence of who he was. Like even how he speaks now is like quantum shift. And it's just remarkable. It was just remarkable to witness. It's incredible. We can't thank you enough for just taking that long trip that you did to bring this technology and this heart love that you offer through this technology to others here in New Jersey. So we just want to say thank you again for bringing the very spirit of who you are here, because it's needed.
Thank you so much. A couple of things. So we had never done an East Coast event before, as respectfully as possible, but everyone hears that everyone on the East Coast is very hard-headed, very aggressive, rude, how you see in the shows and movies for, New York, New Jersey type things, and not open to this type of stuff. So the thing about when your guys' event was revealed to me, I was like, I think we got to go to this. And again, it's just one of those things in the knowing, I got all these voices going on all the time. I just do what they tell me. And so far it's worked out every time. So like, you should go. So I'm like, we're going to go. And I apologize. So I don't even know how many people. I was like, I'm so sorry for not bringing this out here earlier. This was my assumption about having this conversation with people on the East Coast, that it was going to be this and that. And a lot of people were like, listen, if you came 2 years ago, that might've been what you got. But with COVID and all these other things that are going on, more of us are researching and finding out that there's more to us. And so you literally came at a perfect time. Thank you so much for bringing it. And I would like, that really spoke volumes to everything that's happening in the world right now for me. And it was very exciting. And so many people have followed up even afterwards. And I'm very excited to come back out again in March. I think you guys have built something really special. And I'm just so happy to be a part of it. The other part I wanted to touch on when you had talked about for your brother. So I'll openly tell people this, but it doesn't come up in every conversation. This technology has been a Trojan horse for spirituality for me for a decade now. Aside from Mystech, I teach like Jedi alchemy and metaphysical healing and things like this. And so many people and so many of us are so distorted, not just from frequencies, but from the foods that we eat, from conversations that we have. We don't even know who we are as an individual. We need to be told this or that by friends or family, or how I feel that day. And so if your whole life, all that's been distorted from an energetic standpoint, from a frequency standpoint, from your environment, it's really difficult for people to be nice or kind or considerate to people because they don't know who they are. And so with this technology and with really how I try to hold myself is, you can be you 100%, 100,000% of the time, and it's going to be glorious. You know, when we talk about things in nature like trees and mountains, we use the words beautiful, right? And unfortunately, we don't really talk about that about each other. It's very rare you see a man or a woman, even if they're attractive, that the word beautiful is what's used before a conversation with them. You're like, man, they're just so gorgeous, or they're hot, or whatever, but beautiful doesn't really come up. And for me, it's kind of been a guiding acronym. Beautiful just means be you to the fullest extent possible. So nature is not trying to impress anyone. It's not trying to show off. It's just being itself. And for that, it's absolutely beautiful and stunning. And so if we can help people remove more layers that they're even unaware of, parts of themselves will start being revealed to, like, wow, they're like a whole new person. It's who they were the whole time. They've just been buried in all this other crap. And so that's a really big part of what we try to do. And everyone within the company will tell you, like, we never had sales quotas. We had compliment quotas. Like if someone walked by, like every day you had to give a minimum of 10 compliments to someone without trying to sell them. Not like, hey, I like your shoes, come check this. Just to sell them another day. And it transforms people. And so we, you know, as many facets as we can, we just want to help cut the corners off everyone and get them to the, you know, shining sphere of light and energy they are. So
I absolutely love that. I love that. You know, it's funny. I feel like, I think one of the reasons why we all kind of magnetized to one another, and however the universe worked it out that our lives would touch, is because I feel like when I feel into the heart essence of what the expo represents, right, in bringing people together, there is a familiarity there, right, that is about soul connection and remembrance. But we're all speaking and vibrating at the same language, temp, if you will. There's like a vibration that just calls everything forth. And when I listen to you speak, it's like you're hitting on everything that touches upon our heart when we think of the expo. And when we first got that inspiration, like one day we were going to do this, and it was all these years later. And when it finally came, it was just so far bigger than we thought. And then COVID happened, and we thought like the world was ending. And in retrospect now, it was like so necessary for not only us in that really small aspect, but in that bigger purpose and potential. It was just, everyone was ready. Everyone was so far ready to receive everything at a different level.
Yeah. And so that I'm actually glad that it took time for you guys. There's, you know, that's another really big part of this. I mean, I've been doing this for a very long time, and we've gone overly slow on purpose. On purpose. I'm never really in a rush for anything. Like when we get a new product, then I'm like giddy and overly excited. I'm like, hey, we got this new headphones that makes music 432 hertz. You guys got to hear them. And I'll freak out about that. But, you know, I'm such a fan of divine timing. And I'm glad that you guys processed everything and did it the way that you did, because I've done dozens, if not hundreds of events and expos, and your guys have really just had a different tune to it than a lot of these other ones. It really felt like the Heart of Oneness is such a great name for your show, because it did feel more of an emotional, loving space than a lot of these other ones. You know, a lot of the other ones are very much hitting your head with the information, and you get to meet and talk with this one person and maybe get a picture, but it doesn't have this like cohesive, like merging of just happiness and harmony that you guys had there. So that's why I was such a big fan of it. Like it was fantastic. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's like you said it earlier. I was going to say, you said it earlier about like touching people and compliments. you don't know who you're going to meet on a daily basis. So if you go out and treat everybody with love and respect, you don't know the impact you're going to have on their lives by saying hello, how you doing, smiling, a touch, something as simple as that. And I talk all the time about, we ask for all these miracles. You could do something like that and just say thank you, have a wonderful day, or just give somebody a smile. It could change their whole trajectory of their life by a simple act of that. People don't realize that, how simple kindness can really change the world.
Truly. And it doesn't take anything, and like you said, it can be momentary. And, it's just one of those things. No one really goes around giving compliments like that, like at the end of the day. So imagine someone comes across, it might have been 10 to 15 years since they heard something nice about themselves. Like, we don't know. Yeah. So just to throw those things out there and to see, like, it really transforms people in real time. And then you don't know what that's going to carry for them moving forward. So I would definitely implore anyone that's watching this and seeing this, like, if anything else is taken, like, just being more kind vocally and on purpose, just take that, and that will shift your own world into ways you don't even expect. It feels really good to be kind.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. So before we let you go, you have to tell us about the music, the headphones. We'd love to hear about the headphones, right? How that converts, right? The distortion of vibration in music, right? So we can integrate that in a much different way.
Oh yeah. So our main frequency we work with is 7.83 hertz, which is for the human body to work optimally. Right. I actually did an interview earlier today specifically about the headphones, and we got into the chakra frequencies that we have, which are also called the solfeggio frequencies in the musical scale. Right. And so with those, if you imagine your body as like a stoplight, if your wiring's no good, it doesn't matter how good the red, yellow, or green bulbs are, the wiring's no good. That's what the 7.83 hertz frequency is. It makes sure that your wires are really, really good and all the signals are perfect. Then the solfeggio frequencies, those are making sure your bulbs are as bright and vibrant as they possibly can be. Right.
Okay.
So like, we have a master bracelet that has 15 frequencies on it that puts the body into Schumann resonance, and then each energy center just gets very fine-tuned. It's great.
Wow.
So for the headphones, during World War II, the natural frequency harmonic is called Verdi's key, is 432 hertz. That's how all natural music in the harmonic tone is supposed to be heard. In the 1940s, because of what they did in like the camps during World War II, they tuned all the music to 440 hertz, and they found that actually dulled people and made them more lethargic and a little bit more aggressive, but not in an attacking way. Just to their overall mood was just a little more rough around the edges, but it'd keep them from really revolting or doing any of these things. And then oddly enough, the rest of the world adopted that as the musical standard in the 1940s. So if you talk to any musician, they'll tell you, 90% of the time, especially if you're at like an actual recording studio, you tune everything to 440 hertz and then record it. Well, 440 is an 8. That's not conducive with any divine math. You hear the music and you can love it and dance and all those things, but your body's not really receiving it in the way that it's supposed to. So we created not a sound filter, but a resonance filter that changes the wave that the music is actually delivered on. And it's brighter, it's more vibrant. There's layers that you actually feel, and professional musicians that we've had hear it will start bawling their eyes out. I met this guy who's like a hip hop producer for 30 years, 40 million records sold, gold albums, the whole everything. And I was like, "You want to hear your music for the first time?" And he looked a little offended, but he was curious. And then the hardcore producer starts bawling in the middle of our booth at the Conscious Life Expo in LA. Wow. And he was like, "Dude, I thought I was a music expert. What is this?" And it's just outside, there's so many realms outside of what we already know, what we talk about. So he ended up letting me come up to his studio, and I do music as well. So he let me like rap on his IG until like 4 a.m. while we're talking about frequency and breaking all these things down. It was amazing.
Oh my God, that must have been amazing.
It was so wild. And then since I've been back out to LA and been to his house and seen, all the gold records in his studio and people that I know and listen to, and I'm just like, man, I'm in here right now. This is so crazy. And so I recently formed a new music group called Dragon Tribe, and we were at a festival in Florida called the Zen Awakening Festival, and we have all of our recording equipment has all also been attuned to 432 hertz.
Wow.
So we might be cheating a little bit, but we're open about it. And we did the opening night on Thursday, and that went till Sunday. So not a lot of people were there, but we got a whole hour long, and everyone just really vibed with the music. And they asked if we would go a second night. And so Sunday we got to open just before people like Mike Love and Rising Appalachia, which are like huge in the community, and they were blown away. And we're like, well, look, we have the 432 put in. We had some headphones. We had some artists listen to it there. We're like, yo, what? Started crying right there on the spot. And so now we have these over-the-ear ones that are about to go on pre-sale December 15th, and they're like studio quality. But it changes so much about what you experience with the music. Like, it's supposed to be more than heard. You know, music has the word muse in it, and the 440 hertz and all the distortion we get has sucked the muse out of most of the music. So anything you've heard where you get emotional and you're like, oh, this is my song, I love it. When you hear it 432, you might like have tears to the ground. Like it's real, but out of appreciation of the beauty of it.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
Wow.
we had a girl at your expo. She started crying. It was this younger girl, and then she got mad out of nowhere. I'm like, you okay? She's like, I feel like music has been robbed from me my whole life.
Wow.
This is what I'm supposed to be hearing.
Wow.
And it was exceptional.
Oh my goodness. I tell you, it's, you know, frequency is everything. And Matt and I always say that energy doesn't lie. And I can't imagine what it's like for you when you see that click in someone, like having that experience of that young woman where it's like you're either seeing a color, experiencing something that you've never seen or felt before, and having that experience of just jubilation, and then the opposite, which is like, wow, I've been lied to, you know, like this has been kept from me, you know, and God bless you again for just doing it. Like, it's
thank you.
remarkable. I'm so excited for you.
Yeah.
Me too. You know what's funny? As long as I've been doing it, when people get it or their reactions, even just for the it never gets old.
Mm-hmm.
Ever. It never. It's just one of these things, no matter how many times we do it, to just see the impact of what people are finding out about themselves in real time is just, it's such a, it's just an honor to be able to do it. And really, like I said at the beginning, because this is based on Tesla's research, like I hope I'm doing the honor, but I really feel like we're trying to do everything the way I think that he would do it, given the current state of how the world is. So as long as that aligns, then I'll be happy with whatever the result is at the end. Like it's good.
Yeah, it's in good hands for sure. It's in good hands. Yeah,
thank
definitely.
It's great. It's great.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Halo.
For
thank you,
everyone and anyone who's watching, do yourself a beautiful heart favor and visit his website. Take a look at his beautiful products. You just need to tune into his heart and his essence here to know the real deal. We thank you again for being here.
Oh, you're so welcome.
Thank you.
We can't wait to see you again. You know, we continue to send you support. You know, all the way from New Jersey to you. You're in one of our favorite places in the world. So
excellent. And listen, if anyone does go to the site, at least through the end of December, after our Black Friday sale, we put an automatic 25% off everything on the whole site. Just to go into the year the right way. So, you know, if you are thinking about doing whatever, definitely do it now to get the savings.
Terrific.
And help yourself, and, you know, take a look at it, and just, if you're called to it, do it, because it's going to change your life.
Yeah.
And you read the testimonials, like I said, we have people from the show, my own brother. So, like I said, it truly, he's a magical person.
Yep.
Real
deal.
You. Like a wizard, self-proclaimed wizard. We're trying to bring it back. We're trying to and on the site, there's also a link that says the science behind the product. So if anyone needs any more than what we already talked about, there's documentaries there. There's animated commercial that we have. Yep. So very potent.
And you have a radio station too, right?
I stopped doing the show when I moved to Arizona. I went on a little hiatus, and I haven't picked it back up yet. But now, because of my music group, and we're very in aligned with everything I was talking about on the show, January 1st, we're going to be launching Dragon Tribe TV, and then that will be the new place for all of the shows.
Fantastic.
Absolutely wonderful. We'll be tuning in.
Thank you. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for having me.
All right, Halo. Be well. Thank you once again, everyone, for tuning in. From our hearts to yours, much love.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.